So let me guess, you've gotten a very important story to tell, but every time you tell it, it just flops. Or worse, it gets a couple of likes from your cousins and then crickets everywhere else. So then you start to question whether your story even really matters. Listen, babes, you're not alone. You just haven't been taught how to structure it yet, because the truth is, the creators who grow overnight, they don't just post more. They tell their stories exactly like this. So let me break it down. Hey babes, I'm Breana, a content strategist who helps creators go from 0 to 6 figures. And I've seen the exact same pattern over and over again. Creators are starting their videos with instant value, thinking I need to teach my audience something right now, when you should be starting your videos with your story, because that's really what people care about. So the problem turns into the fact that most people don't know how to do that in a way that connects, builds trust, and actually leads somewhere. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my go-to storytelling frameworks that I give all of my new mentees. I like to call it the 3-part content engine. It's super simple, beginner friendly, and that's what I teach inside of my coaching and my content strategies. So by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with knowing exactly how to structure stories that will actually grow your page. Part 1, the who. Start with your audience. This is where most new creators will trip up. You're so focused on your story that you forget the most important part, who it's actually for. Even though it's your story, you're not just talking about your life. What you're trying to do is create a moment of recognition for somebody else. That means speaking to a specific version of your audience, someone with a clear emotion, experience, or a specific challenge. If you don't do all of this, what happens is your story tends to feel vague and people just end up scrolling past it because they can't see themselves in. So let me give you an example. So instead of saying, I quit my 9-to-5 to follow my dreams, you can identify your who by saying something like, if you've ever sat at your desk wondering if this is what you're really meant to do, then take this as a sign. Here's what happened on the day that I finally decided to quit. That version directly speaks to someone who feels stuck. It's specific, it's sticky, and that satisfies the who element. So let me give you another example. If you're a makeup creator, so instead of saying, I started content creation because I love makeup, what you can say instead is, if you're the friend who everybody asks to do their makeup before brunch, this one is for you. Here's exactly how I turned that into my first paid brand deal. It's instant, and it also speaks to beauty lovers who necessarily weren't thinking about content creation as a path. So here's a really quick tip. I want you guys to start your videos off as if you're responding to a DM, not like you're starting a speech. Your story is just an answer to a question that your audience is already asking themselves, and sometimes without even realizing it. So part 2 is your flip, saying something fresh or unexpected. This is the part that turns your story from, oh, that's cool for you, to, oh, wait, that's literally me. It's the insight, it's the twist, or it's the lesson that makes your story worth listening to begin with. Now, if you're new to content creation, I want you to really lean into this part with me, because this is where everything starts to click. So many creators tend to just share what actually happened in their videos. And while that might feel brave or vulnerable, it's not enough on its own. What makes a story actually memorable isn't the actual event, it's the meaning that you pull from it. Meaning that you don't let me get demonetized for that action. Your audience is always looking for a shift in their perspective, or a prize or a punchline that they haven't already thought about. That, babe, is your flip. This is exactly how people are increasing their viewer retention. So here's how I want you to think about it. Imagine you're telling a story to your best friend and then you pause halfway through and you say, wait, no, because here's the part that literally changed everything. That's your flip. That is your actual flip. Why am I getting so excited about it? But I don't know why I'm getting so excited about it, but I really hope that this is an aha moment for somebody, because that is probably the missing element in your content. So example, let's just say that you're on your fitness journey and the basic story is that you lost about 20 pounds. Now the flip here could be something like, I stopped working out in order to lose weight. And that moment is when the scale stopped moving. So think of it as an unexpected shift that makes people want to lean in and be like, tell me more. Another example, let's say you're a creator who's been struggling with comparisons online. A basic story could be something like, I used to feel discouraged every single time I would open Instagram. And then your flip could be something like, the moment that I realized everybody else's success didn't directly reflect mine is when my content started to flow. Your audience then feels seen, and essentially the flip has done its job. Even if your story feels small or ordinary, the flip makes it powerful. So I want you to not think this is what happened, but instead think this is what I discovered. What is one sentence that I want people to remember from this video? So part 3 is your thread. This is where we connect it back to your brand. If you're a new creator, this is the part where you've been unintentionally skipping. What is this? This part is probably why your content hasn't turned into real growth. So your thread, which is the ending of your video, is going to answer this question. Why am I telling this story right now? But more importantly, it's how your audience knows exactly what you stand for, what you're building, and what comes up next. So without having a thread, essentially what you're doing is you're just sitting here entertaining, which is not a problem at all. It's not a problem. You can always just be an entertainment creator. But if you want your content to build a brand, to lead to opportunities, and grow your audience in a meaningful way, you need to have a thread. So I want you to think of it like this. The thread is like the so what moment of your story. You've already told us what actually happened. You've given us the shift, which is the flip. So now it's time to tie it all in together. Show us exactly why all of this matters to your bigger picture. So for example, let's say if you're a coach of any kind, fitness coach, lifestyle coach, parenting coach, whatever. Your story should end with how that moment made you passionate about helping others. Or maybe you offer them a free guide, or you invite them to subscribe to your email list. Now, let's say you're a beauty creator. Your story should end with the confidence that you got back from using a product, a service, or changing your mindset. And within that, you're going to share a review, or you're going to share a tutorial. Or because a lot of you moms are like on my ass about mom content. Let's say you're a mother, right? And you make parenting content. Your story could end with an entire lifestyle shift, or an entire realization that you're not like other parents. You're not like other moms. And you share that through either a resource that you learned from, or a real life experience and a reflection that you've had within yourself. It just needs to leave people to know what you do, who you do it for, and exactly why you do what you do, and then how they can continue to do the exact same journey with you. So without having a thread to tie it all in, your content is just over here floating on the algorithm, and you're wondering why people aren't engaging with your videos. But with it, now you're turning your content and moving it over to a community, and you're building that community through curiosity and a yearn to build for connection. And a yearn to build for connection. I hope you guys get what I mean. If not, you'll tell me. But essentially what I'm trying to say is the thread is where growth happens throughout your content, your platforms, etc. So let me show you how all of this can work with my own personal story. When I left my law career back in 2020, I had no idea what was next, but I just knew that this can't be life. And that little segment is my who. I'm talking to career pivoting creators who feel stuck in their 9-to-5 without me having to directly call them out. But the surprising part is that I made way more money in the 8 months of me being a full-time content creator than I did an entire year of practicing law. And that's my flip. It's like the wait, what moment? Because a lot of people tend to think that lawyers make a decent amount of income, and the average content creator doesn't make really that much. Let alone for it to be a full-time income, let alone for it to be higher than what we consider a consistent job like an attorney or a lawyer. Making silly videos for the internet over putting on a suit and going to court every day seems like a major jump. And it kind of is. And now I help other creators do the exact same thing by building a content strategy that'll help grow their brand and their audience. And that's the thread, aka the so what moment. It's real, it's very simple, but also it's powerful. Do you see how that's way more powerful than if I were to say something like, if you're not making at least 6 figures in your job, then you should quit and become a content creator just like me. Literally no one wants to hear that. I didn't even want to say that. And it sounds gimmicky me. Essentially, this sounds like an instant broken promise versus a genuine connection of me trying to reach my people. So let's take a step back and lock all of this in. You do not need to be perfect. You don't need any fancy equipment. You just need a story that's told with clarity, purpose, and connection. And the 3-part content engine is exactly how you do that. So you're going to start off with your who. So that way your audience knows, oh, this is exactly for me. And you're going to drop in your flip so they see something new or they feel something deeper. And then lastly, you're going to go into your thread so they know what to do next and exactly why it matters. So if you're just now starting out or you just feel like in a rut, then take this as your resetting point. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop chasing trends and we're going to start telling stories with intention. This isn't necessarily about going viral. If you guys want to go viral, let me know. I could easily make like a quick video on how to go viral in every one of your videos. But this is about building a real connection of people who want to follow you, work with you, and support your brand, and support your journey, whatever that is, and support your journey, whatever that looks like. It's because ultimately they heard your story and they felt like it mattered. Now, to me, as someone who has went viral plenty of times, that's way more important, but I'll let you decide for yourself. Now, I hope this helps. And if it didn't, no worries. Let me know in the comments whatever blockers you were facing while watching this video, and I'll make a whole new video to customize it to you and to help you guys out. But if this did help, be sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video. I love you.